What's up, guys? Today we've got the Pixel 7 Pro versus the S22 Ultra. These are probably some of the best phones that you can pick up right now. Well, not probably. These are some of the best phones that you can pick up if you're looking for a flagship device here. Now, these are two different takes on what the user is looking for, or the experience goes. The Ultra, it sort of goes for this like specced out, super heavy, like we're gonna throw everything in there, it's gonna be extra. Google doesn't go super heavy with specs and stuff like that, as you'll see with the comparison, but they do a lot of things right when it comes to the software side. So let's go ahead and jump in. I want to start off with this design. These are two absolutely beautiful phones here. Be sure to comment down below which design do you guys like most here. I think they did such a great job with making these phones very unique looking. I think the S22 Ultra, when you see it, you know it's a S22 Ultra. The Pixel, 100% when you see it, you know it's a Pixel, because no phone really has this crazy looking camera bar on it. As far as the size goes, as we can see, about the same size, almost about the same size in thickness as well too. The S22 Ultra, it has a more matte finish on it. The Pixel does have a glossy finish, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on which color you get, because if you got this in black, then you would see all the fingerprints, but this Snow White, it literally picks up no fingerprints, or you can't, see them. They're both glass and metal devices. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant, and they both feel really good in the hand. I would say the Pixel feels a little bit better because it's not as sharp as the S22 Ultra. So the S22 Ultra kind of cuts into the hand like the iPhones do, but the Pixel has a slight little curve to it, so it feels a little bit better in the palm to me. Let's go ahead and talk about the displays on these two phones here. So the Pixel 7 Pro does have the LTPO AMOLED display. It's 120 Hz HDR10+. It gets 1500 nits peak brightness. It's also a 1440p display, 512 for the PPI. And the S22 Ultra is a 6.8-inch display. It's dynamic AMOLED, and it's 120 Hz HDR10+. It is brighter than the Pixel's display. It's 1750 nits peak brightness, and it's a 1440p display, 500 for the PPI. So both displays look absolutely beautiful here. One thing that you would notice, and this is super minor, the S22 Ultra's punch hole is just barely smaller, slightly smaller than the Pixels. You will notice both of these phones have a curved display here, but if you are interested to know, the Pixel does have the slight, I guess, lesser curve. Is really minimal, but you can definitely see that it's not as curved as the S22 Ultra is, which is something that you may or may not like. I really like this sort of edge-to-edge look of the S22 Ultra, but I can see why people would like that because it's really hard to get accidental touches now on the Pixel 7 Pro here. Both displays are absolutely beautiful. Like I said, it's not really too much different with these displays. Like I said, they're about the same size, same resolution, both 120 Hz. Color-wise, they both produce some really great colors as well too. So they're actually more close in terms of quality than most people will think here. So honestly, both displays are really beautiful. I think the average person, you really won't be able to tell the difference, honestly. The only real difference here is if I took these outside, the S22 Ultra would definitely be a little bit brighter and easier to see outdoors, but the Pixel, it's not like it's a phone that's hard to see outdoors either, because it's still pretty bright. So definitely two excellent displays on both of these devices here. So let's go ahead and talk about the software experience. This is a pretty big difference here. So with Google, you get the stock Android experience. So this is how Google wants you to experience Android here. It's vanilla Android, and it comes with no bloatware. Everything is extremely smooth. All animations are just really smooth. Me personally, I think it's smoother than the S22 Ultra in terms of animations, and just overall not experiencing those little glitches and stuff like that as far as navigating and stuff, scrolling, swiping. I can sometimes get a little lag on my S22 Ultra, but this phone remains smooth as far as animation, swiping and stuff. It's one thing that I noticed with these Pixel phones. And overall, it's not a ton of stuff in here. With these settings, everything is just super bare minimum here. And it's basically the opposite on the S22 Ultra. There's so much stuff in here as far as features, Samsung desktop support, secure folders is on here. Samsung has a ton of settings that you can go around and play with, advanced settings, and there's just way more to the software, even as far as multitasking and stuff like that. It just like there's just a ton of stuff with One UI. I have a ton of One UI feature videos if you guys want to type that in the search bar, because it could take a long time to go over them. But just know that Samsung they throw a ton of stuff. So if you're one of those people that you like to just take advantage of a ton of software and stuff like that, then definitely One UI is for you. Also, one of the big differences here is that you have a stylus with the S22 Ultra. This can be really good for people who simply just want to navigate, and also people who are really into digital artwork and stuff like that, people that like to draw and stuff like that. I do have a video about that too, but this is just a really awesome little tool. Like I said, digital artists, just navigating, jotting down notes, that's what I like to use it for. Overall, it's just a great experience. So if you find yourself, if you seem like you're interested, this is definitely a cool thing to have. Talk about these specs a little bit more in depth here. So we are running the Google Tensor G2 chip on here, 128 gigs of internal storage and 12 gigs of RAM on here. And then we also have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip on here, and then it is the 128 gig, and this is the 8 gig version on here. You can see the S22 Ultra is going to get better scores as far as the processor goes, and overall the Snapdragon chip, it is faster, or it performs better in general. So if I was a power user, I would still go with the 8 Gen 1 chip, simply because I did the gaming test on both of these phones. Even though both of these phones are very smooth, the S22 Ultra is way more optimized for gaming, so it plays Fortnite way better than the Pixel would. And I think overall, in general, it's just going to be a better gaming experience. So if you're a big gamer, you would go with this phone instant. You know, I would recommend it hands down. As far as speed, in general, the Pixel is able to keep up with even the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip. You can see it's not really too much of a difference when it comes to launching applications and stuff like that. Really not a difference here. So let's just go into Instagram. You guys can see it's just super smooth. You can see the Pixel even beating it. And honestly, like I said, Pixel feels just super fluid and fast. Like I said, bouncing in and out of applications and stuff like that. It is just a breeze to use here. So definitely both phones, you're gonna get that premium fast experience. But like I said, if you are a gamer, you are definitely going with the S22 Ultra here. Let's see which one of these gets into PUBG faster here. Now both these phones play PUBG at the same exact settings. I do have a gaming test, like I said, on both of these. They both play at HDR Extreme. Yeah, no 90 frames on any of these. But yeah, so performance is going to be great. But I know I get that question all the time. Yes, gaming, definitely S22 Ultra. Looks like the S22 Ultra got in there first. The Pixel, I guess, right behind it. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the additional features like the biometrics. So what I love that Google did this year is they actually brought the fingerprint scanner along with the face unlock here. So the fingerprint scanner has been improved, and you also have face unlock on here as well, just like the S22 Ultra. It has the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner on here, which I will say it does feel just a tad bit faster because this is an optical and this is an ultrasonic, the 3D one. So like this one, you have to apply a little bit of pressure, but with the S22 Ultra, it's like you can like lightly tap it and it'll still register. So I just consider that one to be slightly faster. But it depends, but because some people like that sort of tap vibration sort of feeling, but it really depends. But I'm telling you, like the ultrasonic just feels a little bit faster. Face unlock on both of these guys, really awesome as well too, so that is really nice. Now we do have NFC on both of these phones. We do have reverse wireless charging on both of these phones. Like I said, they're both IP68, so they check off a lot of the boxes when it comes to your flagship features. We're gonna go ahead and check out both speakers here. Max volume. Alright, so in terms of speaker quality, in my opinion, it's not even close. The Pixel 7 Pro is just way better speakers, way better bass. It's louder. Samsung actually took a big L this year with the speakers on the S22 Ultra. They actually kind of suck compared to the previous, like the Note 10 Plus, the Note 20 Ultra. These are actually kind of trash compared to a lot of other phones. So the speakers on this phone is one thing that I do not like. I don't know if you guys can really tell, but it's just like no bass. It's almost like no bass compared to the Pixel. Yeah, it just sounds flat almost. So yeah, Pixel 7 Pro definitely better speakers here. Alright guys, let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. I'll show you guys these side-by-side stills, but the specs on the S22 Ultra is crazy. It's one of my favorite camera systems. Actually, it's really growing on me because this phone, it pretty much forces you to take a lot of zoom shots since the zoom is just so good on this phone. So it has a 108 megapixel lens standard, and then a 10 megapixel periscope telephoto that does 10x, and then another 10 megapixel telephoto that does 3x, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide on here as well too. It shoots in 8K 24, and you have a 40 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60 as well too. So the Pixel, on the other hand, it does have a 50 megapixel lens on here, a 48 megapixel telephoto lens on here, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 4K 60 on the front and back, and then it actually has a 10.8 megapixel wide selfie cam on here as well too. So be sure to let me know, which pictures do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer the Pixel or the S22 Ultra? And I also forgot to mention, the S22 Ultra can have the ability to zoom up to 100 times as well too. Both these phones can do 30 times, but the 30 times, like the zoom shots to me are just way better on the S22 Ultra. But as far as just casual shots, let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, here's the video on the Ultra. Let's see, I got my 3x, 10x, and then I can go ahead and bounce to my 0.6. Alright guys, here is the video on the Pixel 7. Here's the ultra wide on here as well too. Here's our 2x. And then here's the 5x. So overall it looks pretty good. Be sure to let me know what you guys think here. Alright guys, lastly, let's talk about battery life. So actually the battery life is pretty similar on both of these phones. I did my battery drain test, the PUBG one, and this got 5 hours and 43 minutes, I believe, and the Pixel got 5 hours 37 minutes. So S22 Ultra did slightly better, but honestly, battery life is going to pretty much be the same. Both these phones have around 6 hours of screen on time that you can get out of these two devices very easily. They both have wireless charging. They both have reverse wireless charging as well too. And you do have slightly faster charging at 45 watts versus the 30 watts on the Pixel. But yeah, guys, battery life is going to be actually excellent on both of these phones. So be sure to let me know, what do you guys think? Which phone would you guys go with and why? And I will catch you guys in the next one.